Welcome to the conversation at airsafe.com. I'm your host, Todd Curtis. What follows are the highlights of the October 20th, 2015 debate between Mansfield, Ohio mayoral candidates Tim Thieker, Ron Abrams, and Gloria Curtis. Full disclosure, Gloria Curtis is my cousin. What follows are the highlights of the debate, more specifically the highlights that feature the responses of Gloria Curtis. Please take the time to listen to the debate and to visit her website, gloriacurtisformayor.com.
Meet the candidates. Ron Abrams is the Democratic candidate for Mansfield mayor. Abrams was born and raised in Marion, Ohio, with a bachelor's and master's degree from Bowling Green State University and a PhD from the University of Cincinnati. Gloria Curtis is a write-in candidate for Mansfield mayor. Gloria is a Democrat, born and raised in Mansfield. She is a 1978 graduate of Malabar High School. She studied English at Central State University and taught high school students in Kettering, Ohio and North Carolina. She moved back to the area in 2012. Gloria Curtis. And Tim Thieker, Republican candidate for Mansfield mayor. Thieker's working career included first at Tappan and then various management positions at Sprint Corporation. Tim has spent the past 4 years serving as Mansfield mayor. Tim Thieker.
Let's start with just the first question. Without referring to any of the other candidates, please tell us what would you like to achieve in the next 4 years and who would you work with and how would you work with them?
Well, I have a platform that anyone who looks at my website can see my platform for the city. I've spent 4 hard years looking and examining all the problems around Mansfield, and my platform looks at those realistically and addresses those. For example, I know that unemployment is very high here, and we don't have businesses that have come into here since they began leaving in the 70s. My transportation hub on my platform talks specifically to 2 factors. It talks about our need to bring in income tax to keep us out of that financial emergency. On page 5 of that plan, on column 2, you'll see that it says we must bring in $3.3 million of income tax this year alone. So my transportation hub uses our bus service we already have, and it gets people from Mansfield to Marysville, from Mansfield to Mount Vernon to the plant there, and to Columbus and to Cleveland. Now, why is that important? If you don't have income tax coming in, we can't pay for safety services, we can't pay for fire, we can't do anything. We're barely keeping our heads above water. People need jobs. I cannot wait any longer for jobs to come in. We've got to go to the mountain of the jobs. Secondly, the transportation hub uses our bus service that does not get any funding from us. They're working on bare minimum. It gives them money per every commuter pass, and attached to that commuter pass is a fee. Comes back to the city so that we can use that as we need to pay for city services. Secondly, I like to have a recycling program. Most progressive cities, and I do think that we can become that, have a recycling program so that we can begin to make our city greener and more attractive. We want to be like everyone else. We need to recycle. Thirdly, I think my platform talks to blighted housing. I don't say tear them down. I say reuse them and rehabilitate them to use for other houses. Go to my platform, look at it, and look at my Squatters' Rights program, my transportation hub program, using our bus service, and also look at recycling. And I'm also looking at another part of our city. Our city charter talks about wanting to move the city into green energy. And that's what we need to do. We can do that by a number of ways. There are trash cans that are solar power that when you put items into it, they will detect themselves full and they will begin to compact. Wind turbines, we're the highest point in Ohio. I don't see why we should not use that. And I really think that we've got to begin looking and comparing ourselves to other cities, and I see what we can become in the future. We've got problems, but my platform shows you that I am a creative person and I am a hard worker. Vote for me and you'll see a big difference in Mansfield.
Now we're going to focus things up a little bit, ask you to keep your answers to 60 seconds. You will be afforded a follow-up opportunity as well. And we will begin with Gloria Curtis. What is Mansfield's biggest opportunity or resource?
Ooh, the biggest opportunity, I think we have a transportation system already in place. Our bus system is available. It is in good condition because it hasn't been utilized as much as it can be. With that transportation system, we already have half the battle won, getting to jobs. I want Mansfield people to have jobs that they can live on, a living wage job that's going to offer them insurance, to be able to have a 401k and a retirement plan, because we know that as you get older, those things are harder to acquire. Our transportation system is ready to use. I would say we can use that to transport us not only to jobs in Marysville and Mount Vernon, Columbus, and Cleveland, but we can bring people into our city to take a look at us using that same transportation system.
Thank you very much. I would afford an additional time. I have a question for Gloria Curtis. When it comes to the buses, are we actually going to drive current RCT buses to Cleveland and Marysville and the like?
As a matter of fact, we are. And I have already spoken with Willa Lear at the transportation office, and she likes the idea because we're not utilizing the bus service enough. They're not getting any funding, and they're barely staying alive. So she likes the idea that we are using those buses to the fullest potential, and we're getting residents from not just Mansfield, understand, not just Mansfield, but from anywhere around, Gallion, Lexington, Bucyrus, to come here to Mansfield to get our system started, to get them to jobs, so yes.
Okay, thank you.
Our first question, and the question has to do with cleanup, and I pause because I'm not sure how to express that, but it's not just maybe cleanup where there's abandoned houses and there's garbage piled up, but what can we do to clean up Mansfield to make it look appealing? I'm talking beautification, or maybe it's the blight, but what can we do to make it more appealing to incoming businesses and people wanting to live here?
Now, I'm a woman, so I'm going to see things a little bit differently. Ladies, I'm going to talk to you for a minute here. Sorry, fellas, but when you've got company coming to town, it's family, or you've got relatives from way away, what's the first thing we do? Company's coming to town, and we say, hey, we got to clean up. We got to spruce the floor. We got to wipe the windows. We got to clean up everything. The same attitude with Mansfield. Company may be coming. I expect that they will. And we need to clean it up. Main Street coming into is deplorable, meaning it's really ratty. Now, the one thing that I like about Mansfield is we can go through Cook Road exit. Turn left at Cook Road, there's a nice Circle K that's up and coming. There's a restaurant on the corner, there's a drive-through. It used to be Dexter's Pizza way back in the day. We can go all the way down Cook Road to Lexington and bring in company that way. It looks much better than Main Street. Not saying anything about Main Street. Those are beautiful old homes that can be spruced up, but they just need a little TLC. So we need to have a company is coming attitude about Mansfield.
All right, thank you very much. All right, as far as a clean city and doing what you can there to make it attractive business, 30 seconds. Gloria, anything else?
I would like to see a lot more care taken by homeowners and renters alike. Keep things cut, trim, watch the trash. Make sure that when you look at your home from the street, it looks like it should be on the front cover of Home Beautiful. At least that's the way I feel about my place.
All right, thank you. As far as dilapidated houses throughout Mansfield, the news reports are 1,600 are considered unsafe, 375 have been demolished. Are we moving fast enough?
We're moving way too fast. I say slow it down to 0. You may ask, why 0? Well, when I see a dilapidated house, I see opportunity. If you've never been to a Habitat for Humanity store, it's full of all kinds of things. And you go out to the West Coast, and people use old houses, and they take everything from the wood floor to the siding off the side of the outside of the house. They use wood columns in the bathtubs with clawed feet. We've got a lot of that. That could be a business that would have people coming here to Mansfield because they want to restore their home with those period pieces. When I see dilapidated houses, I see opportunity for jobs, to replace that is non-desirable in one area with something that somebody else desires. It's called recycling. It isn't a new idea. There's money for that. There's a business to be created there. So, my view.
Thank you. We do have time if anybody wants to go, or we can move to another question. Gloria Curtis.
The reason why they probably turned around and left is because they didn't like what they saw. You've got to have a plan of attack. It's called a platform for how you're going to proceed. You just don't tear down things without what's going to go in that place. What do you get when you tear it down? A field of weeds. We had that on Klein Avenue. My old school Johnny Appleseed, a field of weeds. You've got to have a plan of action for that. Now, my squatters' rights program, look at my website, talks about using dilapidated houses and those field of weeds. What we see as dilapidated, somebody in Cleveland who's tired of the high crime rate would come here and call that opportunity because they are handy, they don't mind putting in sweat equity, and that's going to help us to grow. We've got to use what we've got.
Thank you. Rhonda?
I just wanted to ask one question, Ms. Curtis. I appreciate the renovation and repurposing some of those parts of the old homes. Recently, the North End Community Collaborative celebrated the ribbon cutting at their teaching garden. That was at a site where there were previously 3 homes. And do you approve of that repurposing? Is that a good master plan?
Well, you can only have so many gardens. I would rather see some places used for gardens, as we already have enough. I think we've got 6. That's ample number. I want to see homes replaced with homes, like having Wayne Homes come into Mansfield. Somebody might want to take a vacant lot and erect a home there. But we've got to make sure that there's a plan, a plot and a plan for when that house is torn down after we've utilized every single thing inside that home, including the copper pipes. We can use that to our advantage. And if it's not inhabitable, then we can tear it down after we have a plan for it.
All right, thank you very much. For those listening at home, Gloria Curtis answering that question. Now, we thought we'd like to know more about the people running for mayor with a few lighter side questions. Gloria, so go out to dinner tonight. Where would you go?
Cracker Barrel. I love the home cooking there.
Your favorite book or reading material?
My own writing. I'm a creative writer, and I like to write from my own pleasure, and I like to read my own writing.
Favorite charity?
Catholic Charities, because they have a medication management program that helps people who cannot afford medication.
Favorite sports team that you follow faithfully?
The Browns.
As hard as it may be. And hobbies or interests?
I like gardening and inventing. I am an inventor, so I like creating my own things.
And now we have 4 envelopes, something different down here. 4 envelopes, each with a possible scenario that requires action from the mayor. You will choose your envelope. Each question will be used only once. And Gloria, you get to choose first. 1, 2, 3, or 4.
I will take 4. I have 4 children.
All right, we don't even know what these questions are.
Okay.
All right. 4.
Okay, the question behind door number 4. You hear a loud crash and feel the tremor from your office. Looking down, you see a truck hauling liquid with a hazardous material logo on it. It is overturned in the Mansfield downtown square. Aside from calling 911, what would you do?
Run out ASAP to take care of someone. Elaborate more?
Yeah, you get a minute.
Okay, well, because I am a big doer. I like to help people. So if I've already notified people and I know they're coming, I'm going to pull everybody with me. Come on, we got to kind of go out here and we got to help. And also try to keep people away because I like doing it myself. So I take control and do traffic control and dictate to people where they're going to go and who they're going to help and that kind of thing. So.
All right, hopefully our special guest is here. Good. All right. We have a question from a special guest, and it's Mayor Lydia Reed. She's going to be here. Come on out here. Thank you very much, serving the city, elected to 4 terms. And you look great tonight.
Well, OH.
Yes. That's a bipartisan cheer, isn't it?
Absolutely. I have a question, and first I want to say that it's very nice to be standing over here and go back out there and not up here. I just have been concerned, and I need this for all of the candidates here tonight. You know, when I walk around Mansfield, most of the time people say one of 2 things to me. They say, why don't we have any jobs here? And secondly, they say, can you run for mayor again?
Yeah.
And I tell them, thankfully, I'm too damn old and I'm enjoying this too much. But the question I have is, you know, we have lost so many businesses to Ontario. And I think it's sad that we aren't able to keep those businesses here. We've got for example, FedEx. FedEx went to Ontario, and they had to build Lewis Road, upgrade it, in order to put FedEx out there. That took a lot of money that the state granted to Ontario. And I guess my question is, number one, why in the world didn't they go out to our beautiful airport industrial park? It's completely ready for site people to come in. It's site ready. All you got to do is start putting your building up and connect the water lines. And the sewer lines too, of course, which are new. And I just, that's number one. Why in the world can't we get people to go to our industrial parks?
Essentially, the question is, we have a business that wants to locate in north central Ohio. How do we keep them in Mansfield without losing them to Ontario?
Well, sorry we didn't get that one part of FedEx, but we can do what Toledo did, and we can use FedEx ground in Ontario to let them come to our airport. We have got the 2nd largest airport in the state of Ohio, next to Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. The depth of our pavement in our airport makes it superb. If we can handle a Super Guppy, we can handle FedEx shipments through air. Now, Chamber of Commerce. I think we can do better attracting businesses if we go back to having a Mansfield City Chamber of Commerce. Why? Because the Richland area, and there's no Mansfield in that name, the Richland area Chamber of Commerce, I feel no longer services what's best for us. I think we should have had that FedEx hub here. If I have anything to do with it, I would pursue other areas like FedEx and UPS for our airport.
All right, thank you, Ms. Curtis. And thanks to Lydia Reed for the question. We really appreciate that, former Mansfield mayor. Now we're going to ask your questions that we've received through social media, and they've actually been coming in for a couple of weeks now. And for the sake of time, there will be no follow-up for these questions. Rhonda, what do we have?
Okay, our first question is, what is your plan of action for young entrepreneurs to get started in developing small business? Gloria?
Well, I think we have a number of buildings that are underutilized. Across from the carousel, we've got that gorgeous building there, sits on the corner, and it's down from the coffee house there. I think we need to offer young entrepreneurs a break, even a free rent on using those buildings, and to give them a cut break on some of the other things that they may need that they can get from inside the city, like printing services. We need to have a program put together to help young people or new businesses that are small grow.
All right, thank you. We do want to thank Kanye East for the question. Ms. Curtis, what's being done or can be done to encourage residential living and development downtown?
Most people in larger cities who live downtown are those of us without children. We have a pet, so that we don't need the things that a family would need. So they've got to attract the older working person. I think it is also, when we look at renting right now, it is cheaper to buy a house in Mansfield than it is to rent. We've got to reverse that so it's more attractive to live downtown. For us older people, I'm 55, it is imperative that we become more conscious about our income. So if we can live in a downtown apartment, we don't have to keep up with grass and leaves and that may be attractive to us. And if we can work down there, more of an added plus.
Thank you.
Our next question is, what's your plan for the drug problem in Mansfield?
I would like to see the same thing that you can go out and buy a newspaper that tells you the most wanted and what they're wanted for. I would like to put drug addicts who are hardcore criminally intented and drug dealers on blast. Put them online so that we can see who they are. From that, I'd like to create a database so that those people who have been through the system and I would say are not ready to be rehabilitated at this particular time. If you're hardcore using or you're dealing drugs and someone rents to you, they can go to this website, look to see are you on there by photo, and then if they rent to you, then they would know your home, your property becomes confiscated, part of the city. That would then go back into the squatters' rights program, and where someone else wants a good home to live in, that confiscated property can be used for that.
All right, thank you. Write-in candidate Gloria Curtis. All right, we'll do one more here. There will be a reception after the debate tonight, and following this final Twitter question, we'll go ahead and ask the candidates to give us a closing comment of 30 seconds or so. A leader, no matter how strong or powerful, is often told no or presented with obstacles. When you want to accomplish something and you're told no, what have you found to be the most effective response?
I think for me, it's always been better to find out why the opposition is there. If I know the opposition is there, what, why, when, I can talk my way through it. I'm a salesperson more than anything else, I think, for almost everything I've done in my life. I need to communicate. That's just who I am. I want to talk and work it out because I'm a person, I don't take no for an answer very well. I don't get upset, but I like to find out why is the opposition there. If we can work through things through communication, and that seems to be the common problem with a lot of things, a lack of communication, we can work through just about anything. So I'm a talkative person, would communicate.
Thank you very much. Now closing comments, we begin with Gloria Curtis.
I would hope that everyone here, Republican, Democrat, or Independent, looks at this as an opportunity for change and for working together because there's so much diversity, but there's also a lot of obstacles in our way. Look at my campaign website, gloriacurtisformayor.com. Look at my platform. And if you can work with me on changing this city, if you think that my platform is grounded in reality, then I'd like you to vote for me.
Thank you. At the moderator desk, Rhonda Blentner of Richland Source. I'm Rusty Cates with WMAN. Now make your vote count. Thank you so much for attending. At home, thank you for listening, and have a great night.
For more information on Gloria Curtis, please visit gloriacurtisformayor.com. That's gloriacurtisformayor.com. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.